How is it going, folks, and happy Monday. Welcome back to Park to Prem. Today is the Champions League quarter-final, and I know you're wondering who we're playing against. It's on screen here, Atletico Madrid. In the quarter-finals, we've dodged Man City. They're taking on Dortmund. Elsewhere, Real Madrid, Barcelona, Bayern, AC Milan. I don't want to jinx it. I don't want to say it too loudly. This might be the best draw we could have got. We've already taken on Atleti this year in the Champions League during the league phase. On that occasion, we beat them 3-2. As well as that, we played them a couple of years ago where we beat them 2-1. So the record, the history, it's in our favour, but we do need to get the job done today. Two big games, no Premier League game in between to juggle. Things are looking good. Can we make it to the semi-final? We're going to find out right now. If you want to help support the channel, support the series, go down below the video, leave a like, leave a comment. I don't know what you're going to comment. Comment something. Could be anything. Could just be the word something. As of late, the series has been struggling to break 1,000 likes and 100 comments per video. As a result of that, it doesn't appear on people's home pages as much. So if the algorithm ultras want to assemble and push this video out into the ether, that would be very much appreciated. Now, since last episode, we did have our youth intake. It's one of the worst youth intakes we've had during this save game. To be completely honest, there was only one player who I was even slightly excited about, Hayden O'Kelly. He's got 2.5-star potential. His current ability does look quite good though, doesn't it? But yeah, when this guy's the best of your youth intake, I think the less said, the better. Not a good year for intakes. I don't think we need to worry about it anymore. Now, in terms of matches since last episode, 4 played. We've taken on Everton twice in those. Of course, we butted heads with Everton a number of times last episode. We did also have them in the FA Cup just a couple of days later. Rotated the team for this one. We won 4-0. Into the FA Cup semi-final we march. We've been drawn against Manchester United. As for recent league games, we opened things up with this 6-0 win against Ipswich Town. They're down towards the drop zone, a team that got a surprise promotion last year, and it was, well, a very good performance here for us. Celik picking up a hat-trick. Things you love to see. The 28-year-old takes his tally for the year in the league to 12. I feel like when you look at his actual contributions this year, they've been a bit disappointing in the league, but I feel like whenever he scores and whenever he assists, especially in cup games, they've kind of been important ones. So, yeah, Celik, if you want to step up in the Premier League, that'd be good. I guess at this point, probably more important that he steps up in the Champions League. Now, sadly for us, we did drop some points, and of course, given our current predicament, we can't really afford to do this. 1-1 against Everton. The Don got us a very, very late goal. A game that we absolutely dominated, and yet, well, they scored from the penalty spot early on. We struggled to find a breakthrough. Alexi, I want to say coming up clutch. Saying he came up clutch makes it sound like he saved us. A draw is not saving us. It wasn't good enough. But I suppose the good news is we did bounce back in our most recent game against Leicester. What does that mean for the Premier League? Well, you can see, looking at the title here, we are only 6 points behind Manchester City. We slipped up. They've slipped up too. Of course, Man City this year have just been this annoying thorn in our side, a team that we just can't seem to dispose of, and they've just been clinging on at the top of the table. You can see here, they are still in the Champions League, where they've been drawn, of course, against Dortmund. Recently, they did slip up against Manchester United, and when you look at their games this month, they've got Liverpool to take on, who are in 4th, Tottenham in 9th, Chelsea in 6th, Arsenal in 3rd. There's actually some difficult games here. Now, that's not to say they're going to slip up in those games, but I feel like there's a door that's opening slowly with 7 games left. If Man City slip up a couple of times without better goal difference, we could still win the league. And I suppose critically, when you look at the games that we've got remaining, we've got the likes of Leeds, Ipswich, Aston Villa, Southampton, Wolves, Sunderland, Nottingham Forest. In fact, of the games we've got left, Aston Villa are the only team in the top half we still have to play. All our remaining games in the league should be winnable. As I mentioned, there is this annoying FA Cup game to contend with, but crucially today, we can just fully focus on the Champions League. Speaking of which, we are going to jump straight into the first leg here against Atleti. Away from home, need a good performance. Of course, they have their star man in Victor. This guy, perhaps the best player in the game, in the universe of our Football Manager Park to Prem adventure. He's very, very good, isn't he, this guy? Have looked at signing him once or twice. Can't afford him. They want lots of millions. Now, in terms of our team news, there are a couple of players injured. Mateus and NDIA are out. I suppose the good thing is they wouldn't be normally starters. NDIA, perhaps the depth he provides is a bit of a miss. He is going to be out for the foreseeable future. Picked up an injury in our most recent league game where we won against Leicester. Besides that, though, the team is at full strength heading into this game. Midfield-wise, Donald and Misiak maybe lacking a little bit in form, but in terms of the strikers, in terms of the attacking players we have in our ranks, they have been providing. Need them to provide here. Away from home for this first game. Would like to have a good result to take back to the Coventry Building Society Stadium Arena. Whatever the name of the stadium is we're currently temporarily playing at. We've been playing here for a number of years now, still don't care about the name of it to learn it. Now, of course, just as a little reminder, we have never made it further than this stage in the Champions League. 2 years ago, when we made it to the quarterfinal, we lost to Man City. You might remember we lost the first leg, I think, like 4-0, and then the second leg was some mad scoreline where it ended up being like 7 or 8 goals for them and a handful of goals for us as well. I would like a better first leg performance here. I feel like that is the order of the day. Away from home, though, it's not necessarily going to be simple. Celik, corner. I mean, set pieces could prove crucial. We have some big, meaty men, and Bailey Salmon, he might be the meatiest of them all. He leaps like a salmon. He stings like a bee, and, well, that is a really good start here. Celik floating the ball to the back stick, and the big, beefy Scottish man is there. He jumps high, and he finds the back of the net. That's what we needed to start. What we didn't need immediately was a kick-off highlight. Having taken the lead now, we don't want to give it up immediately, although maybe there's a chance for another quick 1-2. A sucker punch, perhaps, as Diop brings it forward. There's players queuing up in the middle. It's putting it, gets clear to Misiak. His effort's blocked. And Atleti managed to scramble it away. That was a mad opportunity. And suddenly they might find themselves on the counter-attack. Luis gives it to Kerfeld. Menez. They've got a load of players on this side, haven't they? Victor, the man we need to be scared of. It's whipped back post, headed away by Alex. The game is looking very open. I mean, I feel like the highlight's about to end, and yet we're on the attack again. Is Diop onside? He's hit the woodwork. He was offside. It wouldn't have counted anyway. But the game's open, and straight away, that offside results in another highlight. The free kick is taken by Atleti. They resume possession, and we resume that football managering action as Louise brings it forward. Alex, is he giving away a penalty? Is it in? It looked like it was in the box. I'll be honest, it looked like it was in the box there. There was one last episode where I was very confident it wasn't in the box and I was right. And I'm glad that I'm wrong. That looked in on first viewing. Alex does get a yellow card. Louise is rolling around a lot. I mean, we do still have to deal with the set piece. That ball is definitely on the line, isn't it? That probably should have been a penalty, but we're not going to complain. That said, we do still need to deal with this. They've got lots of big players to aim for in the middle, Atleti. And well, who is this here? Victor, who's really milking it. Celik was doing it last episode. Some of the free kick takers in the future, they really like to take their time. The good news for us is we are going to clear it away. And then Louise thinks he's playing rugby as he smashes it over the crossbar. Halfway through this first half, we find ourselves a goal to the good. It's a good performance. I wouldn't necessarily say it's been a great performance so far today. I'm a little bit concerned about Alex on a booking. Might take him off for Bolton, or Bolton rather, at half-time. Can't bring on the city of Bolton. I feel like that wouldn't be fair, would it, if you just had a herd of people appear on the pitch. There's 5 minutes left of this half. A late goal now would really be a kick in the gonads for either team, especially, well, Atleti, if we could double our lead here. Away from home, I feel like taking any kind of result to protect at home would be absolutely huge. Heck, even a draw would be a good result here. But, well, if we could make it 2, that would be nice, wouldn't it? Alex floats it in. Diop was under it. It's headed away. Victor's there. Clears it away, but only as far as Donald. Donald very capable at just mopping up the pieces. In a previous life, he worked at a supermarket, clearing up aisles. He's very good at the mopping, as we've seen on this occasion here. We still have the ball. Leam in to Huari. Atleti are pressing higher, but we can't afford to lose the ball in this kind of area, although we have worked it nicely all the way through. And Diop's shot deflects against the post. Atleti are going to get it away here. But my oh my, that could have been 2, couldn't it? Right before the break. There's going to be 2 minutes of added time. Well, we're not done yet, folks. Don't go and get your half-time burger or your half-time overpriced soft drink here in Madrid, because there is more to occur. Bailey Salmon, the goal scorer, lays it down the line to Celik. Rojas has options inside, has options outside, picks out Celik, the number 11. He can score from here. He goes on his own, and he does score from here. It's his 22nd goal of the season. Criticised him for his lack of contributions in the Premier League. He turns up on the big stage. He's turned up here, and what a goal this was. Celik laid it to Rojas initially. Really intelligent run by Rojas just to drift inside, create a channel for Celik. He picked up the ball with so much to do, but he could do it and more. That is why he's won a Ballon d'Or, ladies and gentlemen. It's 2-0 here. And, well, it's not game, set, and match. But I feel like we've won a game right there. At half-time, it's 2-0. I'm going to praise the players. It's been a good team display so far. Not been overly happy with Alex, so I am going to bring in Bolton. Fresh legs in the wing-back area, probably not a bad idea. At left-back, Lehman is on a booking as well, which I don't necessarily adore. But, of course, NDIA is not around, so I can't really take him off for anyone. If I was going to take him off, what I'd probably have to do is move Donald to left-back and then bring in, well, I guess it'd be Ichikawa, a defensive midfielder. It'd be a bit of a shuffle of the team. Hopefully it won't come to that, although they are now bringing the ball forward on this left-hand side as Mendes cuts inside. Afoni makes a save, but it falls straight to Ginsari. And in terms of disastrous starts to the second half, that's about as bad as it could have been. Having got 2 goals ahead right before the break, we've collapsed within 5 minutes of this half. To be honest, there was a little bit of fortune here, wasn't there? If Fonny makes the save, it falls to Ginsari, who taps it into the vacated net. Not at the fault of the goalkeeper, to be clear. And with one of Atleti's first shots of the game, one of their first chances, they get 1. And now suddenly they're looking for a quick 2. Donald heads it away, but only as far as the goal scorer. Plenty of players in the box room to potentially aim for. Victor, of course, their star man, is one such player. They knock the ball from left to right, the ball at the edge of the box in a dangerous area. We've got so many men back trying to contain this. But Atleti maintaining the ball, an option into the box perhaps, although we have managed to win the ball back nicely. And with all these players committed to the attack, if we could now get it forward quickly, which we're not going to do, I thought for a moment we might be able to catch them out. Instead, though, it's a defence splitting pass by Misiak, and then Rojas has a sensational ball put in, and Atleti are about to go a man down here. That is kind of crazy. They've had a sending off. They're going to change their system as a result and go narrow. They have no wide players now. And with that in mind, and I might live to regret this, I'm going to change our wing-backs here to complete wing-backs, and I'm actually going to take off Lee Min. I feel like it's unlikely he's going to be put under much pressure in this game. With, well, the lack of wide attacking players. But at this point, I just feel like getting on some complete wing-backs could be the play. Donald isn't necessarily the perfect wing-back, but to be honest, he is such a good footballer. I feel like he can just do any role that we need him to do. Right now, I need him to come on there. Looking at the rest of the team, Misiak's been a little bit quiet, so I'm going to bring in Marky Anderson too. Not going to change the front 4 yet, but with an hour played here, we have got a chance still to shake things up with 2 subs remaining. I feel like now that they're down a man, we really need to try and capitalise on things here. They're continuing to play this narrow shape. So I'm going to ask the players to play wider. We're not going to look for the overlap quite as much. And then in transition, we're going to just try and get the ball into the wide areas just a little bit. I want to try and stretch them, Atleti, because they're playing such a narrow shape here. And I want to try and cause them some issues. I'm going to move Alexi, actually, out onto the right-hand side. I think I'm going to bring in Sam Fay as well, alongside Vasquez, 2 players that we've used a lot this year in the attacking third. Want to just try and make the most of how they're set up. And in fact, I've made all these changes. Look at how they've now adapted. What is this formation by Atleti? I mean, this is peak Atletico Madrid, isn't it? That makes me feel sick. I mean, at this point, it's kind of apparent, isn't it, that they are not going for the win. They are looking to hit us on the counter. A little bit wary of that, especially with the 2 strikers. So I am just going to change our wing-backs back to their regular wing-back on attack roles. But let's see if we can just make something happen. Make the man advantage count. Ichikawa wide to Bolton. Finds himself in an advanced area. It was a speculative shot. It's gone over, sadly, for us. There's 5 minutes left of this game, and whilst I'm happy with the performance, there is a bit of a question mark as to could we have made the most and made more of the advantage we had in terms of personnel. In the end, though, you know what? I'm not going to view it through that lens. We've been very good here, and barring a very late kick, and there you go, Nuds. He's gone for an overhead kick there. Easy, Tiger. Imagine if that had gone in. If that had got... I don't want to imagine. Look, we don't need to imagine. It's finished 2-1 here. That was nearly the scariest end to a football match ever. I feel like winning away from home puts us with kind of 1 foot in the semi-finals. I don't want to say that too loudly. In the other game you can see here, Real Madrid v Barcelona. Real take an early lead in the first leg. 3-1 they win at home. Now the good news for us here is we have got a week's break to the next game. We don't have a midweek game to worry about in the league, which I think Man City do have to worry about, which is kind of favourable for us. In terms of the semi-finals, by the way, the draw has already been made for that. If we can win the second leg and get our way through, we'll take on the winner of Real Madrid v Barcelona. So no matter what, it's probably going to be quite a tricky semi-final. Of course, we've got to get there first, and we've got to get into the future. A week away, we're heading to the Coventry Building Society Arena. I think I nearly got the name right earlier. Don't go anywhere. We're heading to Cov. 2-1 up. Should be good. Should be good. You know what? Nothing is certain here, is it? At the risk of sounding like a broken record, this Man City team are doing my head in. They've made it through in the Champions League. They beat Dortmund 1-0. Of course, we're playing on a Wednesday. On the Tuesday, you can see here, AC Milan managed to navigate through 1-0 on aggregate, whilst Man City scraped through 2-1. And most annoying for us is Man City, of course, they had that game against Liverpool midweek. You're wondering, did they lose in it? The answer, no. They managed to win 1-0. So as a result of that, they are back 9 points clear. And whilst we do have a game in hand, that was one of those games I was looking at thinking, maybe they'll slip up there. Spoilers, they didn't. Anyway, as for ourselves, we've had a rather quiet week, by all accounts. We've been able to rest up the players. We head into this game, I'm hoping, ready and raring to go. In terms of team news, we could go with the exact same team that played the last game. Do I want to do that, is what I'm wondering. You know what, this might be controversial. I'm going to bring in Ichikawa over Donald. Ichikawa has been in a decent run of form when we've called upon him, and I'm going to call upon him here to maybe make something happen. And, you know, I'm good. I'm going for 2 changes. You know what? Misiak has also been poor, and whilst I have attributed that somewhat just down to the roaming playmaker role and how the ratings are scored in Football Manager, I don't like seeing Bolton on the bench. I feel like Bolton can do a job in this role. Going to send a message to Misiak by bringing in the England international. Feel like maybe last game we didn't control the midfield as much as I was hoping. Perhaps with those changes there, our fortunes are going to change. Okay, a Champions League semi-final spot is up for grabs here. We want to beat Atleti. I feel like we need to beat Atleti as well. I know the board have pretty lofty ambitions. When I have been renewing some players' contracts, they have tried to sneak in the promise of win the Champions League in the next 2 years. And of course, whilst I have removed those promises, because I think that's a really difficult promise to guarantee anyone, I think that does give you an idea of just where our squad is at. We have quality. We have just some uncontainable attacking firepower, I feel like. And whilst it's not been on full display inside the first half an hour here, maybe that is about to change right now. Atleti playing in a green kit. I had no idea Atleti had a green kit. It says orange in the top right, so I'm very confused. Either way, they've scored. They've scored. Why are they playing in an all-green kit when it says orange up there? I've got so many questions and not enough answers. VAR's going to check it. The goal's been disallowed. I'll tell you what, that is a let-off, isn't it? Oh, okay. Atleti apparently do have a green third kit. Interesting. You know what? I'm not going to argue with it. Okay, well, after that little scare and the disallowed goal, we've been given a second lease on life. We're at home here. We should be really taking the game to them. We've not been able to do that inside the first half an hour, but we do find ourselves with possession now. We have been controlling it a little bit as well. 57% of it in our favour. So far in this game, 0 shots on target. It has not been a classic, but maybe, just maybe, that's about to change here. Salmon with the ball. Lays it out to Huari, the centre-back, with options in front to maybe pick out. Instead, he goes to Bolton, who, of course, is slotting in today. Hopefully, he's going to have a good game, as Celik is in behind. And Celik, if there's a man you want in that kind of position, it's this man. He scores. It's another moment of quality. Not sure about the celebration and what he was doing there. Doesn't matter. You know what? He can celebrate however he wants. We are not the celebration police out here. Bolton gave it to him. Rojas again just picking out Celik, making an on-rushing run. And the captain finds the bottom corner exquisitely. 5 minutes left of this first half. It has been, I want to say, one-way traffic. There's not really been any traffic. It's a very quiet day on the roads so far, although maybe that's going to change here as the ball is launched forward. Diop with it has the Don on the overlap. De Don, the Frenchman, signed as a freebie. He has contributed a lot in this second half of the season. For a moment, I thought he was going to contribute again there. Diop's shot was blocked and cleared away. We do still have it. I feel like that block shot might have been the highlight. I'd love to be wrong. I feel like with our system, it's kind of just one of those very common kind of chances that we like to create where our fullbacks, they get to the byline, they get to the wide area, and they put it in. This time on Diop's head, he's headed it just over as well. Just as I thought this game was destined to be 3-1 at the break, we do have a set piece. Where is Bailey's salmon? Where is the salmon? There he is. He's headed it over. That's annoying. Okay, 3 minutes of added time at the end of this first half. They are going to come and go. It's 1-0 on the night. It's not spectacular. It's not all that pretty, but it's what we need to do. At the break, I'm going to bring in Sam Fay for the Don. Diop's been a little poor as well here. I'm going to bring in Neto. Neto, I feel like, pops up with some pretty important goals for us in the striking area. He's got 6 goals in the Champions League in 8 appearances. Need him to come off the bench, make a cameo here. I feel like if we get one more goal, it's wrapped up. I can't see a world where Atleti score 3 in a half. Yeah, we've not been spectacular ourselves, but when you look at the match momentum, we've had the better of the play. They've not yet had a shot on target, and suddenly we're at an hour played and nothing is happening. Sometimes in Football Manager, nothing's happening. You're getting stressed, you're getting annoyed, and it's really frustrating. And other times, it kind of suits you. Right now, it suits me. Wari, free header. It was a good header as well. He made good contact. It's gone just wide. The time is just whittling away in the top left. Atleti, they need to make something happen here. Maybe there is going to be a chance here for them to make something happen as Decore lays it forward, although Ichikawa breaks it down nicely. We've dominated the ball here. I don't know if we can really attribute that to Bolton and Ichikawa, but they've done well at centre mid. And while speaking of the devil, here is Ichikawa to Bolton to Neto. And for a second, I thought all 3 players we brought in during and before this game were going to link up for a really nice goal. Instead, it's parried out for a corner, which we are going to take short to Neto. Now with Fay, who drills it in. It's cleared away, but Atleti are not looking threatening here. I'm trying not to think about the semi-final just yet, but I am starting to get a little carried away. If we get the goal now, I will get carried away. Sam Fay, I don't know why he's gone on his own. What possessed him to shoot from there? He's rocked the crossbar and nearly scored a goal of the season contender. Okay, there's 2 minutes left of this game. Atleti have had 2 shots on target. This game, I feel like, is done now. We're 3-1 up. We nearly made it 4. I suppose if we want to look at a positive, we've squandered some chances, especially from crosses into the box in this game. It's fortunately for us not the kind of game where it's ultimately going to cost us. I've not even really made many subs in this game because I've not felt a need to. The players we have on the pitch, they've done the business. They're doing the business. This game's done, isn't it? Full-time whistle is going to go here. Not a spectacular result, but you know what? A really good controlling display. I didn't notice this earlier. Their goalkeeper went off injured in this game. They brought in Cuesta to play in goal. In hindsight, maybe we could have tested him a little bit more. I mean, we didn't really have that many shots on target, I don't think. I mean, I say that actually we had 7 shots on target and the goalkeeper got a 7.2 rating. So we did test the youngster. He passed the test. Sadly, he couldn't stop them succumbing to that defeat. I don't think a goalkeeper can score the goals for you. And on this night here, Atleti couldn't get the goals they needed. Elsewhere, an absolute classic in the Clasico. Real Madrid 4, Barcelona 3. That was an 120-minute goal for Real Madrid. Right before penalties were about to be taken, there's ultimately meant that in the semi-final, we will be taking on Real Madrid. A trip to the Bernabeu awaits. Look at these stats here. Real Madrid with that 120th minute goal have absolutely stolen that, haven't they? We do receive £9.08 million for that as well, which is actually quite a decent amount of money. I have seen some comments recently about our bank balance. I will say now, it's fairly standard at this level, especially with the kind of wages we're spending, that you just hemorrhage money throughout the year, and then when prize money and TV money comes in at the end of the year, you find yourself back in the black. If we look at the likes of, well, Man City here, who have got minus 200 million, Manchester United minus 150, Newcastle minus 200. I mean, you can see a trend emerging here. Every single team is in the red. By comparison, Southampton, of course, ruining it there. But by comparison, we are not in the worst situation in the world. It's kind of just how football teams operate, for better or worse. Now, as a result of those Champions League games, we have had some fixtures moved around. When do we take on Real Madrid in our first game? The answer to that question is in 13 days' time. Now, we have got an FA Cup semi-final against Manchester United. I'm not going to do that in a video. We've played Manchester United so many times. At this point as well, we have won the FA Cup on a couple of occasions, to the point where I don't want to say the magic of the Cup's gone. It doesn't quite feel as special as the Champions League run we're currently going on. Speaking of which, that is when we are going to be back next time. We have Real Madrid to take on at the end of April, the start of May. In the intermission, I am going to hope that Man City, with some tricky games against the likes of Tottenham, Chelsea and co, can maybe slip up. Ultimately, however, I think the Premier League title might have gone now. If you have enjoyed today's video, please do go below, as always, and leave a like. Next time out, Champions League semi-final action. I hope to see you guys for that one. Take things easy. It's me, Jack. I'll talk to you guys in a bit. I'm out.